Hi, everyone. Happy Friday. Hope you're having a great week so far. I am super excited to be live with you today and to have a very special guest joining me. She is here, so let me just get her on. Let's see. How do I do this? Hopefully, I did it right. Oh, maybe not. Oh, make sure she is able to join me real quick. Okay, come on.
You did it
There we
right.
go. Oh, we did it. Okay.
Minute. Hey, girl.
Hi, how are you? So good to
I'm good.
see
It's
you.
always so awkward when you start a live and it's like, I did it. Why isn't it happening? It's like this
Yeah.
long lag.
Yeah, well, that's typical of me being out in the country and nothing works very timely for me here. But anyway, this is Taylor Dukes. Welcome to my community. So excited that you're here. I know I had a lot of my clients are very excited to hear from you today. So thank
Oh,
you for joining us. And our topic today is going to be all about gut health and how that impacts, truly your overall wellness, your overall being. And um, we're gonna kind of touch on all the bases of your health, weight loss, chronic disease, cancer, all the things. But first and foremost, I wanted to kind of let you introduce yourself, really talk about how what got you into the space of functional medicine and gut health specifically, and then from there, I wanted to let everybody know the connection that we have through my sister, which is ultimately what led to me asking you here today to talk about gut health. So first and foremost, I'll let you take it away and kind of share a little bit about yourself and how you came to be with functional medicine and the things.
sure. Yeah. So I always tell people, I'm like, you're either sick or you're smart to get into this. And if you're smart, amazing. You're ahead of the curve. You care about your health. You're preventative, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
But most of my colleagues and for myself, I was sick. And so yeah, I was never the sick kid really growing up, but I graduated from TCU. I was a
Mhm.
nurse from nursing school, and I had the opportunity to go abroad, and I got really sick. I spent a lot of time in Africa and Ecuador, and a lot of my issues, why we're talking about the gut today, stemmed from the gut. I had other issues as well, but that was kind of one of my main issues. And so I went from doctor to doctor, specialist to specialist. They would prescribe meds, do certain procedures. Some of them were invasive. And that's really what led me to this integrative approach. I was a nurse, so I didn't know about kind of this integrative world. In fact, I thought it was totally crazy. And my
Mhm.
mom was a big advocate of like, this isn't working. We're not getting places. So why
Right.
don't you go to this functional medicine doctor? And I was so desperate, but I didn't think it was going to help. And it did. It changed my life, changed the trajectory of my career. So I was able to get off all my medications, times and places for meds. I'm not
Right.
against them. I'm a nurse practitioner. So I used to prescribe.
Right.
However, it just helped and it changed my life. So I went back to nurse practitioner school. I started a practice. I worked for Dr. Amy Myers, who's New York Times bestselling author. She was really big on thyroid, gut, and autoimmunity. And so I learned so much being her nurse for years. And
Mm.
that's really how I got into it. I was sick and had my own story and experienced the benefits of functional medicine, getting to the root cause.
Right. Yeah. Which is so important. Okay. So then the crazy part of this story is that you then a couple of years ago, you can tell your story better than I can
Yeah,
tell it.
totally. So
Where
I was healthy. Like I was
Yep.
practicing medicine. I had a wellness center. We have two children. We were so blessed. We
Hmm.
conceived both times. We tried. We're pregnant the next month. Like
Yeah.
life was good. And I had a company reach out, Pernuvo. They're a full body preventative
Yep.
scan. And they just said, "Hey, Taylor, we love the work that you're doing online. We love your blog. We love your social media. We'd love to gift you a full body preventative scan." So I did that. And that was 2 years ago, September 2022. And in that scan, they found a brain tumor, which
Mm.
was a total curveball because I had absolutely zero symptoms.
Yeah.
So it was a blessing like that I found out before I was symptomatic, but that led to a cancer
Right.
journey. And so I was so confused. I'm like, what, God? I thought that I'd healed and like
Yeah.
that was intermission, and now it's round two and it's cancer. So, I am currently no evidence of disease, praise God. With cancer, you still have to monitor, and I have a scan coming up here soon. But it is one of those things that I never thought cancer would be a part of my story, but it is,
Right.
and that's how we connected. If you want
Right?
to share that
Yeah.
part,
Yeah. So your cancer journey actually led us to connecting through my sister, and I'll try to keep this short and not boohoo. Try to keep my composure. But most of everyone here knows I've openly shared that I actually lost my sister 3 months ago to stage 4 colon cancer. Hence why we are talking about the importance of gut health, gang. But such a cool story. I followed Taylor for a long time on Instagram, and she actually met my sister Raina at the Cancer Center for Healing, I believe is what it's called, in California, Dr.
Mhm.
Keneally, which I'm such a huge fan of, and she was just wonderful, and I know you love her too. But anyhow, so Raina and my sister and Taylor connected through their cancer journey, and Raina would just talk so highly of Taylor. Oh, I met this girl and we've connected and she's so smart, and I, always am asking for her advice on, what to do. And I'm like, yeah, I follow her on Instagram. So strange. But anyhow, as Raina kind of got into her last few months of her journey, and she was really sick and just not being able to, oh, she couldn't see and she couldn't respond to texts. And, you and all of her friends that she met out in California were connecting with me, just asking for updates. And so that's how we
So today,
met
you're gonna
through the
you're making me
DMs.
cry over here. I'm like, I'm holding back, but I'm like, today's for
Yeah,
Raina, right? It's for all of you
today's
guys
fun.
because we get to
Yeah,
educate y'all, but that's kind of why, right?
that is why we are here, is to honor her life. Obviously, Raina just wanted everybody to know Jesus, most importantly.
Yes.
But also to spread the word about why, uh, you know, cancer, especially colon cancer, and the prevalence is alarming,
Yeah.
especially in younger people. And my sister was 33 when she got diagnosed. She was healthy. She had no previous history, no health history, no family history. Uh, it was shocking, completely
Mhm.
shocking. And I just feel in my heart that it is a part of my responsibility as her sister, and having this platform to talk about that,
Mhm.
um, so that other people might not suffer the way that my family has suffered,
Yeah.
because of her life and her loss. But she was just a great person, and through her suffering, she always was so positive and encouraging, and always, you know, trying to do better for other people. And so I just kind of lead,
And
you
making us
know,
laugh all along the
oh
way.
my
I'm like,
goodness,
oh my
right.
God, Raina, what are you doing? You're at the Cancer Institute, like sliding across IV poles. Like,
Can I just ask how many times she embarrassed the crap out of you? I mean, she is so embarrassing. That was like my whole thing. She embarrassed the crap out of me my whole entire life. But
that is
uh
so funny. Well,
yeah.
this one's for
So
her. And I
it
love
is,
that
yeah.
you want to honor her and are
Yeah.
so passionate about educating people. Because
Yeah.
again, until really, I mean, like I said, if you get into this healthy living because you're smart, amazing, but
Yeah.
most people get into it because they're sick or
Yeah.
desperate or have a diagnosis that's a curveball thrown their way. And so,
Right.
for those of y'all listening, I always say when you know better, you do better. And so you're going to learn today. And
Yeah.
now you know.
It's so funny that you said that. I literally was on a call with some of my clients today, said the exact same thing. So yes, totally believe that. So okay, let's talk a little bit about why gut health is so important just for overall health. I mean, we can talk about the connection between that and chronic disease, diabetes, and heart health and autoimmune, and kind of just why does all of this stem from the gut, and why is it so important to, keep this top of mind?
Yeah, so the gut really is the gateway to health, and it affects so many things from the immune system to, like she had said, inflammation, metabolism. The majority of our neurotransmitters are made in our gut, so they call it the second
Mhm.
brain. It's just related to so many different things. And so that's why I'm so passionate about gut health. And in my practice, when I don't work with people on anymore one-on-one. I have, programs and stuff online, but in a community where you get access to testing. But with that being said, I was always so passionate, and they're like, I want to do this test, this test, this test. And I said, you can, but if we just focus on the gut and start there, so many other
Right.
things are going to fall into place. Hormones, I mean, not always. You have to look at other avenues and other contributing factors, but it's just skin would clear when we treat the gut. And so I just
Mhm.
love that the gut really is so central to so many different parts of the body.
Yes, absolutely. And am always telling my clients specifically, like, if you're constantly walking around bloated, if
Hmm.
you don't go poo every day, like, these are not normal things. Even though what is normal or what is common is not normal.
Yes.
Okay, there's two different things. What is common, to be bloated all the time because it is so common, we think it's normal,
Not,
or to not have regular bowel movements is very common for people, or irregular, but that is not normal. And so these are things that we, really want to think about. So maybe tell us a little bit about what we should be looking for. What are signs of an unhealthy gut?
yeah. So you have the obvious things like bloating, constipation, diarrhea, heartburn. Again, we normalize these things because our friend or our
Hmm.
husband or whatever, it's not normal. So you have the obvious gut symptoms like bloating, burping frequently, passing too much gas, constipation, diarrhea, not going to the bathroom every single day, full bowel movements. Look at the Bristol stool chart to see what's normal.
Yep.
Um, but then also other things like skin, depression, anxiety, they're not all rooted. That can be trauma
Hmm.
sometimes, mental health, but a lot of other things like eczema, autoimmune disease, those can also be symptoms that something is off with the gut.
Yeah, absolutely. I see a lot of the eczema and psoriasis clear up, and acne. A big one is
Yes,
acne. And that was for me personally when I
me
really
too.
started to eliminate inflammatory foods in my diet, was massive change in my skin, just like how it looked. And headaches for me is a big thing. So, when I'm eating a lot of inflammatory foods, I get a lot more headaches. So,
Yes.
um, yeah. Can you tell me what the significance is with gut health in cancer prevention? So, and why, there's so many things, but what is the significance there?
Yeah, so the gut, like we've said, I mean, I literally cannot emphasize it enough. I have half the articles on my blog are truly about gut health because I'm
Hmm.
so passionate about it and everything else falls into place. But when it comes to cancer specifically, so we know that cancer is an immune system problem. And so anything that can hinder and suppress the immune's response is what's not going to take care of cancer cells. And so at any given point in time, we all have circulating cancer cells. But the way that God made our bodies is our immune system goes and takes care of those. When our immune system is suppressed or out of whack, that's when the cancer cells kind of go rogue and they get out of control and then a tumor forms. So again, the 80 or 90% of our immune system, some people argue, is in located in the gut. And so that's
Right.
really important when it comes to an immune response, but also keeping out foreign pathogens, parasites, invaders. Like our gut should be able to keep us strong and, keep those things away. But when the gut is compromised and our immune system's compromised, we kind of are affected by all of those things. And then also detoxification is really important. It's a huge part of cancer care. And so whether you're detoxing heavy metals, mold, other things like that, it's really important to have good detox pathways. And if you're not having bowel movements every day, that's really
Yeah.
important. And then also when it comes to diet, we are seeing an increase in colon cancer, and we also look at our diet and how it is significantly
Yeah.
changed, and just the inflammatory foods and seed oils and the processing of things, the lack of fiber, that really is a huge contributing factor to a lot of cancer diagnosis. That's not the only, I'm not saying diet's the only cause, but it can be a contributing factor for sure.
Right. And I think that's huge, like why we're seeing such an increase in cancer, especially colorectal,
Mhm.
in like the millennials, is because our foods, I kind of feel like we're the generation that started to eat more of the heavily processed foods, and now we're seeing kind of the negative side effects of
Effects.
that.
And our
But
foods are
yeah.
sprayed in a lot of things like
Yeah.
glyphosate, and yeah, it's just it's harder this day and age. You really have to make a conscious effort to avoid those things. And we
Hmm.
can't control everything. We just
Yeah.
do the best that we can. But I also think a lot of symptoms get suppressed and ignored, like People
Yeah.
having blood in the stool, they're like, oh, it's due to hemorrhoids. You just had a baby. Oh, stuff gets dismissed. And so, again, like if you have symptoms, you go to the doctor, you get screened. Or if you have bloating and constipation, I'm not saying you're going to get cancer. I don't want there to be any
Yeah.
fear mongering here. We're
Yeah.
just really big on interventions and
Yeah.
knowing. But I always say, like, if you don't have a gut, if you have a gut issue, go get it taken care of because it can lead to other issues. And so pay
Yeah.
attention to your body. I always say, any symptom is nagging and annoying, but don't suppress it. It's a blessing. It's the body
Yeah.
speaking up and talking to
Yes,
you
it
to
is
go do something.
absolutely. Yeah, our bodies are so smart and, don't ignore exactly,
Mhm.
I say, we have all of these symptoms or our biofeedback is what tells us, how we make decisions. And that's,
Right.
the data that our body is giving us so that we can make better decisions on what to do moving forward. So like instead of, I think, especially as women, we have for so long been told, to ignore like our hunger cues and, that we're
Mhm.
overly stressed or we're exhausted all the time. Just like keep pushing through. And, especially for weight loss, which is a lot of
Mhm.
what, my clients are, looking for. And instead, if you could just lean in and be more intuitive about what your body is truly trying to say, trying to tell you, you can be more successful in
Mhm.
that, but also at the same time, just, with your overall health, just be a healthier person. So,
Exactly.
going back a little bit, tell us a little bit about how the gut impacts weight loss, because I think that is, something a lot of people are struggling with, and it does, gut health is a huge factor.
Yeah, so there's several different ways. I can talk about metabolism,
Yeah.
appetite regulation, and then just the gut microbiome in general. But I can also speak from personal experience. When I was really sick and had all my gut issues, I was so inflamed. I mean,
Hmm.
my face was just like a balloon full of acne, and I was so inflamed. And I had just like resistant weight issues. And I never thought about my weight. I never really cared, like whatever, clothes fit me. But when my gut was a wreck, I did. Was just, it was inflammation, is what it was. And so,
Yeah.
we talk about when the gut's off. You can talk about leaky gut and how food particles can get into your bloodstream. When you have leaky gut, you're supposed to just extract nutrients and vitamins and minerals from food, not food particles. So that can cause systemic inflammation.
Hmm.
But as far as the gut microbiome goes, when you have an imbalance in the microbiome and the gut bacteria, it can impair digestion. It can lead to issues with nutrient absorption and then potentially weight gain. And you had alluded to kind of hormone stuff,
Hmm.
but when it comes to appetite regulation, the gut produces hormones that then help regulate appetite, such as ghrelin, which stimulates hunger, and then leptin, which signals fullness. And so when your gut's off, that can be all out of whack. Um, and then a healthy gut microbiome also helps maintain kind of the balance of those hormones, which promotes a healthy appetite. Like when
Hmm.
I am full, I am full. Um, and then also when it comes to metabolism, I mean, I don't know if Lauren, you want to speak to this more too, because you do this as well. Like I'm not the only person that knows. I mean, I love your knowledge and
Yeah.
everything you're saying. I'm like, that is exactly what I would say.
Yeah.
But certain bacteria can promote the storage of fat, while others may be more fat
Mhm.
burning. And then there's also something called LPS, lipopolysaccharides. I don't want to get too sciencey, but some of the pathogenic gut bacteria can actually send off these things that are inflammatory, leading to weight issues. And it makes it harder
Mm.
for the body to regulate blood sugar, fat storage, things like that. But I would also say that, an unhealthy gut that's really imbalanced, it can lead to that chronic low grade inflammation like I was experiencing. And then that can interfere with metabolism and then insulin resistance. So
Yes.
the big
Right.
thing is inflammation that drives a lot of the issues, but you can get into the nitty gritty too.
Right. That's so interesting. Okay, so we know why the gut impacts all of these things. So what can we do, practical, tips, lifestyle changes that we can make on a daily basis to kind of help to heal our gut? What have you got for us
So
there?
I would say just getting back to basics, and it's not just about food
Hmm.
and diet and workout and all of those things. It is those things, and it's going to promote overall health. But one thing I think that a lot of people miss is managing stress and regulating the nervous
Yeah.
system, especially cortisol. Because when we're not in that rest and digest state, which is the parasympathetic state of the nervous system, when you're go, 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 go and stress all the time, you're in the sympathetic state, which is fight or flight. And so something that often gets overlooked, and a GI doctor is definitely not going to talk to you about this, but just stress reduction, sleeping, that's really huge.
Mhm.
Removing toxins and chemicals, those can be inflammatory and can damage your gut lining.
Yeah.
Eating real food, I always say shopping the perimeter of the grocery store, getting back to foods that don't need ingredient labels.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of clean, healthy swaps that I love sharing and providing and that we have in
Yes, I
our
love those.
house. But when people get overwhelmed, it's like, just get back to eating real food, you
Right.
know? And so that's going to decrease inflammation just in general. And then there are certain supplements, unpopular opinion. I don't think people need to be on probiotics every single day of their lives year
Yeah.
round. I just don't think that. And from doing thousands and thousands of gut tests over the years, some people need them, some people don't. So,
Hmm.
um, I would say though, if someone does, and I have so many health articles on my website, if you just Google like Taylor Duke's Gut Health, we have a whole roundup that gives like practical tips too that you guys can read
Perfect.
about. But with that being said, I would, yeah, if you are having symptoms, you can troubleshoot and try digestive enzymes. If you have constipation, you can try adding magnesium, specifically citrate or citrate, to see if it helps loosen the stool. Drinking enough
Yeah.
water, that's huge for having bowel movements. People don't drink enough water. They're like, oh, I have coffee, water at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I'm like, no, that's not
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
So, getting back to the basics, managing
Right.
stress, sleeping, removing toxins, eating real food, drinking water. But if you are having gut issues, again, like I said, you can experiment with magnesium, digestive enzymes, probiotic. But if you are having a lot of chronic, more systemic issues, it's really worth doing a stool test and getting
Mhm.
kind of a workup to see what could be causing the symptoms.
Yeah. I love that you said that like probiotics aren't necessarily for everyone. And then also that first you have to nail the basics because I think like especially in the world of social media and just the overwhelm that
Mhm.
I mean there's so much information
Yeah.
and it's like do this juice cleanse and then this thing and then take these 45 different supplements and then like you've got all this stuff but then if you don't do the work, like literally just eat the right foods and manage your sleep and manage your stress and exercise. Like,
Hmm.
if you don't do that stuff first, then it does not matter
Right.
like what supplements you take. It's not going to fix the problem.
It's
So,
still a band-aid approach, even in
exactly.
the name of like natural. And also,
Yeah.
I want to highlight like what works for one person may not work for you,
Yeah.
And so that's where it's helpful if you are experiencing bad issues to get a personalized protocol,
Mm.
testing, because, again, this probiotic cured my blah, 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 fine, try it, but I think people just go down rabbit trails and then they're chasing themselves. And then I've seen people that have the exact same symptoms and have two completely opposite stool tests all the time. I'm like, this
Yeah.
person had a parasite, this person had dysbiosis and digestive enzyme, pancreatic insufficiency, versus this person had great. It really depends on the person.
Yeah. That is so wild. So, um, I think we've kind of already touched on this, but as a functional medicine practitioner, tell us the importance of addressing the root cause of poor gut health as opposed to just putting the band-aid on it. What is the difference?
Yeah, so when the gut is left untreated for long periods of time, it can lead to chronic systemic issues, long-term inflammation, immune system dysfunction. And so, yeah, when you get to the root cause, you're actually figuring out what's going on and how you can get to the root cause to fix it once and for all and prevent
Hmm.
future complications. And another example of this would be someone comes to me with acne and so they're doing spironolactone and maybe they're doing antibiotics like doxycycline or minocycline. Most people don't know those are antibiotics. So when the dermatologist prescribes that, you could have a gut issue that's leading to your acne, but you're making it worse by taking antibiotics every single day. And yes, it may clear up your acne, but the second you go off of it, it's there and it's raging.
Mm,
And then what you've also realized is that it also can provoke more acne because chronic long-term antibiotics or frequent use can cause candida and fungal overgrowth. And so again, that's just one example of women that I see is they're treating the skin as an isolated
mm.
issue, but they're not getting to the root cause and they're actually perpetuating they're making it worse.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So this was amazing. First and foremost, thank you so much for all of the wonderful knowledge that you've shared today and just, kind of giving us a good baseline for what we should, understand about gut health and the importance, and how we can kind of start to make good steps in the right direction to a healthier gut. Um, you have, of course, your Instagram profile is amazing. I love your healthy swaps. It's always a wonderful thing. I love those. And also, I want you to tell us a little bit about how people can work with you through your gut health program, your membership, more details on all of that.
Sure. And then I'm going to make you do the same for any of my people that might be here that don't know you or what you do. But yeah, so I'm just here on Instagram. I have an online store of supplements. It's just shoptaylordukeswellness.com. We have gut reset bundles. We have probiotics. We have digestive enzymes. We have all the things. I'm not saying you need all the things, right? But we do have a good gut reset. So if someone's used to like bloating, constipation, that works phenomenal.
Hmm.
It kind of hits it at all angles with a gut healing supplement. And I always tell people if you want to start there, and see if it takes your issues away, do that. Then you can always do stool testing. But yeah, I had a couple thousand people on my wait list at my private practice. And I'm like, what am I going to do? So I hired providers and then they took on people. We still had a wait list. And so someone was like, you need to do some sort of program.
Yeah.
And for me, I really struggled because when it comes to, personalized protocols, especially gut health, I just said I can't do that because it's so personalized. But then I got creative and we found a way to be able to help people to where it's still personalized. And so we created an entire gut program where it's basically you get access to a stool test. You have the option to do a one-on-one consult with my nurse practitioner. Um, and then we tell you this is your personalized protocol and it walks you through exactly what to take, what to do, what foods to add in. We have different modules. So we have a nutrition module, we have a stress module, a toxins. We talk about what to do if you get the stomach bug or have to take antibiotics. And so that's kind of like one of my little business babies is our gut program.
Yeah, I love it.
Just because, and then you have access to a group and, you can ask us questions, our team. And so that's something I'm passionate about. I never thought I would be able to do it, but because it's personalized, we're able to do that. But then, yeah, like also we have an online community where it's literally $39 a month, no strings attached. You can join 1 month, cancel the next. And we talk about everything from blood sugar to nervous system to, we had an MD on this morning that talked all about cancer and COVID and autism. And anyway, so I'm really passionate about
Awesome.
educating and equipping people
Yes,
with information.
I
So yeah,
love it.
but tell
Yeah.
people here in case there's any of my people that don't know what you do.
Yeah, so I am actually a coach for a program called the Faster Way to Fat Loss, and primarily work with people who want to lose weight, struggling to lose weight. But my passion is really how do I teach women how to live a healthier lifestyle so they can live longer, so they can prevent disease, so they can prevent cancer. That is really what my passion is rooted in. And so when you're thinking about gut health and you're like, okay, well, you've told me how to do all these things, but like, I don't know what steps do I take? How do I take action and really start implementing this into my life? It's a really great program to give you the basics, to lay that foundation, to teach you what is whole food nutrition and how do I apply that to my everyday life, and how do I implement, movement in a way that, honors stress in our lives, and what is the importance of sleep and rest, and, just putting all of the pieces together in a nice little roadmap, and having guidance and accountability and coaching along the way to not only help you feel better about your body, but just help you to live a life that you feel really passionate about, with energy and purpose. So that is what I do, and it's
Well, and I
it,
love that
it works so well with what you do.
you just listed. And again, it's my approach too, and things we've been talking about this whole live for anyone that missed the beginning. But it's like it's not just working out, it's not just nutrition, it's sleep, it's stress,
Yeah.
it's so many other different things. It's rest, recovery, honoring our body where we're at in our cycle as women. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
it's so multifaceted. And so I love hearing you
Mm.
say that too, because it's not just one pill or one
Yeah.
workout or
Yes.
whatever.
And as you said, everyone is bio
Mhm.
individual. So like everybody deserves a unique approach, and and what works for one person is not going to work for the other. So just really thinking about a person as an individual, and creating a plan that is going to help them to be successful is a really important piece of the puzzle as well. But anyhow, okay, Taylor Dukes Wellness is your Instagram handle, correct? I said that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Amazing. I will be sure that this replay gets posted and
You're the best. We did
yeah,
it for Raina. I'm
we
like, cheers,
did.
Raina girl.
I'm so grateful that she brought you into my little circle, and
Mm.
I'm so thankful for you for being here and again, sharing this wonderful knowledge with us because ultimately someone is going to do better because of it now that they know
Well, I
more.
love it.
So
You're the
thank you.
best. Thanks for having me. I'm
Of
proud of you and
course.
all the work that you're doing,
Same
girl.
to
All
you. Same to you. Have a great
right.
weekend.
You too.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.